From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, May 21st, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.87 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,256 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,022. Antiwar.com reports while the final official count is still not released, sources within the Iranian government say that President Hassan Rouhani has an insurmountable lead in Friday's presidential election and will easily secure victory over hardline candidate Ibrahim Raisi. The Iranian Interior Ministry has reported a far bigger than expected turnout in the election, estimated at over 70%. This led to some 5 hours of extension in the amount of times the polls were open to accommodate everyone. Over 40 million votes were cast. By the assessment of a source talking to Reuters, 37 million votes had been counted by Friday evening, with 21.6 million voting for Rouhani, meaning he's going to get a majority, and the only question remaining is how big of a majority he will manage when all is said and done. Rouhani's staff has claimed he won about 60% of the vote, and fellow reformist Mohammad Khatami released a picture of Rouhani making a victory sign on social media, bragging hope prevailed over isolation. Though polls had predicted the vote would be closer, signs are that the heavy turnout strongly favored the reformist and dealt a major blow to the hardliner. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. UPI reports authorities are investigating radioactive material found on a worker's clothing 1 week after a tunnel collapse at a nuclear waste site in the state of Washington. Around 7 p.m. on Thursday, Washington River Protection Solutions, a government contractor in charge of all 177 underground storage tanks at the nuclear site, detected high radiation readings on a robotic device that 7 workers were pulling out of a tank. Then, contamination was also discovered on the clothing of one worker, on one shoe, on his shirt, and on his pants in the knee area. Using leak detection instruments, WRPS said it did not find liquid escaping from the tanks. On Saturday, the Hanford site confirmed the incident had occurred and employees had returned to normal work locations at their regular scheduled times. On May 9th, workers noticed that a section of a tunnel at the nuclear waste site had collapsed, creating a 20-foot hole. Workers filled the hole with soil. The tunnel was constructed during the Cold War to hold rail cars loaded with equipment contaminated during plutonium production. It had been sealed since the 1990s, according to the Department of Energy. Earlier Thursday, the governors of Washington and Oregon urged President Donald Trump, Secretary of Energy Rick Perry, and White House Budget Director Mick Mulvaney for enough budget money to accelerate the safe and efficient cleanup of nuclear waste at Hanford. The state of Washington has legally binding agreements with the Energy Department to treat, remove, or permanently store Hanford's waste. The cleanup of Hanford began in the 1980s, and the Hanford N reactor ceased producing plutonium in 1987. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports China killed or imprisoned 18 to 20 CIA sources from 2010 to 2012, hobbling U.S. spying operations in a massive intelligence breach whose origin has not been identified, according to a New York Times report on Saturday. The New York Times reported, citing current and former U.S. officials, that investigators remain divided over whether there was a spy within the CIA who betrayed the sources or whether the Chinese hacked the CIA's covert communications system. The New York Times reported the Chinese killed at least a dozen people providing information to the CIA from 2010 through 2012, dismantling a network that was years in the making. One person was shot and killed in front of a government building in China, according to 3 officials speaking to the Times, saying that was designed as a message to others about working with Washington. The CIA declined comment on Saturday. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.